We're on to game 2 in our Group A match of the War of the Light Cup.
No, you only stalled because it said game 1 at first, and you had to fix it.
I did actually. Yes, it's one of those things that is better. Justin will appreciate that I caught it now instead of after, so he doesn't have to come up with a creative cover up when he posts it.
Until
later
I'm a
on.
jerk and point it out.
What? It's craziness. You wouldn't even notice. Anyways, so we have Daniel, who was successful against well, we should do the introductions.
Introductions are important.
I, of course, am Vince, Trader Armory. You hear my voice an awful lot on these. And I have my most common, probably, sidekick.
Yes. I am Richie. I was just playing the Orange Lanterns, or
Yes.
Super Hounds on the rounds
Yes.
that I don't use a lot.
That is true. So we're going to be having Daniel playing his second game, his second and final round robin game,
Yeah.
against the top-seeded Yellow Lanterns this time. Now, for reasons that I can't possibly get into now, because I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face for the rest of the broadcast, and it would carry over into the voicing.
Pat
I
can't
can't
be
tell
here.
you why a Silent Pat is unable to play his Yellow Lanterns currently. But I assure you, the next time I have him sitting in as my co-pilot sidekick,
Well, there
that
we go.
we will get into this online. there is a humorous story involved with this. And it may or may not have involved my phone text going up to its maximum amount of a lot
Several
of text.
times.
Several times. But a quick introduction to my sidekick Commen-Terry will be fitting in, and yes, we actually have that in the scrolling bar is Commen-Terry. We'll be standing in. Luckily enough, we had Pat's team here.
Yes.
So what we have is the 160-point Sinestro. We have the 115-point Bedovian. Love that crab. We have the 100-point Arkillo, so not the full Arkillo. Obviously, it wasn't the full point Sinestro either.
Yeah.
We have Karu-Sil.
I love Carousel. That's one of my favorite pieces from the set.
We have 2 Sinestro recruits. And quite possibly, and I don't think this is going out of line in saying this, I think this is probably the reason why the Sinestro Corps was voted to be one of the top seeds.
Because of the recruits.
The lowest point character, Despotellis.
Yep.
It's cold season.
It is.
And I'm sure Terry's hope is that the Star Sapphires are the only ones catching it and the only ones coming down with it.
Those Star Sapphires are rude.
Yeah. One thing of note is I don't have the new style duo bases, so that's why Karu-Sil doesn't have a red base around it. But when the pack does pop out, we'll have that one for there. So easily done. So we have the initial rolls, and just like we did before, we're using the 3D objects.
Yep.
As you can see, we've opted to switch out one of the light objects for the robot, which makes a lot of sense for Larflea's
Lair. Okara.
which is the map that we're going to be playing on. That there should be just random trash.
Oh yeah,
'Cause it's his.
His
It's his.
lair is filled with random trash.
Treasures.
Treasures, yes. Depending on who you ask. Mine. So who won the roll anyway? I didn't see. Okay.
Terry won, but Gabe first. So here's a question that I, having just played them,
Yeah.
obviously you have a respect for the Lanterns, for the Violets. They're a formidable team to begin with.
They are.
I was suggesting to Terry that of all the teams that didn't make the top seeding, I thought Oranges and Violets were 2 of the potentials that could knock off the top seed.
They were really evenly matched. I mean, I had to get in close enough to get the barriers up.
Yeah.
To use Larfleaze's power to activate the special quake, but at the same time, Larfleaze is took a lot of Mystics damage for that. So
Yeah.
it was kind of give and take. But the other thing I did that's kept him at bay for a while was kept on dropping out those Orange Lantern absorbs and just tying up his guys. So the game probably would have ended sooner had I not kept tying up his guys.
So we're going to go back to some pre-game analysis right now. Just want to let you know that the Star Sapphires are coming off. If you're not familiar with this map, it's the big section where the Sapphires are starting are Elevation 3.
Mm-hmm.
The most of what I guess you can call an H
The outside of the map?
is the middle, so it's 2, and then the under where you're seeing the Orange Lantern Syndrome, that's actually a pit where it's 1. So it's 1 the H's number 2 and 3. So starting off on the high ground, putting himself into position so he can shoot down, which, as we saw in your game, the positioning of the Star Sapphires as staging points around elevation changes is really important.
He positioned himself
that's one of the
really
things
well.
Daniel does really well. Yeah, like the positioning right there of that Star Sapphire.
Yes.
With the rules of elevated, is that there actually is no line of fire there. You can't go from the lower terrain to her from where she is.
In the corner, you mean?
Because that blocking terrain, and 2, because this square here would just south of her and just west of her would block it. It doesn't go through the diagonal anymore because now it's blocked. That's a change. It's a couple years ago change.
Okay.
But yeah, that's there is no line of sight there anymore. So Sinestro's coming out. How do you think the game's going to fare? I think this is one of the ones that the Star Sapphires may have the hardest time with.
Yeah, well, they...
And I didn't know when we did the pooling to see who was going to go where, that with all the super senses, with all the mystics, with all the shape change, the Sinestro Corps has a little bit of poison. Not as much as my reds.
No.
That's a red thing.
Different
But
story.
they got a little bit. But they also have the pack, where it doesn't matter if you get mystics, because you can just pop it back out again.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it's the recruits that pulse wave. Access to pulse wave, access to cheap pulse wave.
Very.
So, and just being able to knock, because most of them, they don't have them full dialed. Like the Star Sapphire recruits.
That's true.
It's only one click. So that's pulse wave waiting to happen. You bump them off it, all of a sudden they're not mystic damage dealing anymore. So it makes them far more manageable.
Yeah.
So I'll have to watch out for that.
Plus the yellow lanterns.
I'm sorry? No, he's tiny.
The other thing the yellows have going for them is their negative perplex.
Yes.
So they can bring down the combat values, or perplex, but only to bring down combat values. Sinestro, doesn't he give it a boost as well? Because all the core leaders usually give some sort of boost.
I want to say
them.
Arkillo gives a bonus.
Or maybe, yeah, I think you're right, Arkillo.
Let's do a quick check. But we'll go to me, because what's the rule, Richie?
Vince is always right.
I missed that. It's awesome. Yeah. But the rookie Arkillo, the one that we have, the 100-point one, he won't have it for his last 2 clicks, until his last 2 clicks.
Okay.
But only to increase... Can use perplex. Oh, he actually has natural perplex. Oh no. To only decrease combat values. When a friendly character with the Sinestro Corps keyword uses perplex, modify its range value by 3.
Yeah.
So gives them a little bit more options and flexibility. And we'll just take a quick look at Sinestro and see if he also gives a form of a benefit. I don't believe so, though. No attacks a character that has combat value reduced. Oh, no, he doesn't help the team, but he can gain greater benefit from the team.
That's actually very Sinestro-like.
Isn't it, though? When Sinestro attacks a character that has combat values reduced below its printed value, he deals penetrating damage to the character. So. Anyone else can set him up and he can be the...
I haven't used that Sinestro a whole lot yet, so...
Well, I actually used him against Alex, the store owner here at CartaMagica.
Okay.
When he was first playing Clicks, he had the unfortunate pleasure, I'm going to use ironically, to ask to play a game against me right after month 2 had happened in War of Light, and I had Gardner. And so the legend of Gardner was born against Alex.
And perpetuated.
And perpetuated. And so he, for a good 6 or 7 games, kept requesting my Green Lantern Gardner-led team.
Because he wanted to.
Because he wanted to take him out.
Did
and
he ever actually beat you?
No.
No. So he's unfulfilled.
And only once has he ever killed Guy out of like 8 games. He's an excellent sport about it. You can see the seething rage behind him. And he just keeps coming back for it. It's nice to see that kind of enthusiasm from the store owner.
Right. It's odd that, or at least I find it odd, he wouldn't have moved Karu-Sil a bit further before popping out the pack to really get packs. Because the pack has, what, a charge of 3? 6 movement, charge of 3?
I want to say the pack actually doesn't have a range.
Not range,
it's charge. It's
speed.
I want to say it's a sidestepper. My bad. I did not put the pack into my quick memory here. There we go. Yeah,
Sidestep.
pack here, sidestepper.
Sidestep, okay. Well, it is, but she's not indomitable, is she?
No, she's not.
Okay.
And the Hal Jordan that goes on the Sinestro Corps does not give willpower. He's one of the exceptions to the War of Light rule is that there isn't a Hal Jordan that gives willpower to the rest of that corps. He's a different kind.
He's Hal.
He's a different kind of high.
It looks like the recruit's taking a hit there.
Obviously, if you're playing this Sinestro Corps team, your opponent has to be considering Despotellis. And one of the best ways to deal with Despotellis is...
Not that.
That's a bold strategy. Let's see if it works out for him. Is to limit his taxis, because Despotellis doesn't move by himself.
No. You know what makes...
I'll explain this for you in a second. I just want to make sure that the players aren't paying attention. This is actually a real bold strategy on Daniel's part. I thought of it before, and I thought it might come up. I didn't want to bring it up just on the event that he didn't come up with it.
Yeah.
But Despotellis has poison, right? His special power can do poison based on action tokens. Fatality has invincible. If she never has a second token, Despotellis can never damage her.
That's right.
So that's an interesting thing where she might be able to take Despotellis out of the game.
She just keeps moving.
Well, right now she's got 2 tokens, so,
Yeah, so she would take.
She could take 1, but it's certainly mitigating damage that he could do, which is like I said, Daniel is one of our better players. He's very, very crafty. His positioning is really good. He's told me that he's my rival, and every time I watch him play, he proves it. He's really good. I had no idea he was my rival, but apparently he's quite worthy of said title.
I didn't actually think about that. I'll have to consider that next time I'm playing against Despotellis. Of course, I won't know when, but if I have someone with Invincible, that's the person to take a shot at.
Yeah, the other one, the really, really common one that people like talking about is Force Blast. Just Force Blast him away.
Yeah.
And that's going to be far, far easier in February when every lantern has access to the... And when I say lantern, what I mean is color, not the power batteries, but they have access to the plow.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so if you're using at least one of the people with constructs, like Ron Vidar, love Ron Vidar better. He was really good.
I know. I'm just surprised when they made the War of Light set. They just didn't make it so that they all can hold constructs, knowing that people are going to be putting constructs on these things anyway.
I can totally understand why not everyone got the construct power, but I think it would have been nice if at least the 2814s, all the Earth base
got that.
Yeah, from all their other colors. You know, that guy, the red guy, the red Hal.
Yeah.
Lara.
Yeah.
The red Lara, because there's a picture of it. There's a picture of red Lara with the construct rock, as it were.
So that's what was supposed to happen. Why did this happen?
I guess I would mess up their production of how they create these things if they had to add the construct rock to every piece.
Sorry, just talk for a second.
All right.
You want to turn that?
Turn.
Sorry. You're just going through Despotellis, the poison? So yeah, the penetrating and the invincible, you got that right? That you're only taking 1? Yeah.
Just confirming with their players.
Yeah, just making sure that they got it right. But our players had it in hand.
They're smart like that.
Daniel knows what he's doing.
Sometimes. So it's the general consensus at least.
It is good to play against type every once in a while.
Yeah. The good thing about the pack is they don't actually have a point value. So whereas every time...
when you see poison going out, in theory you could send the pack out after that shape change person. Get 3 chances at it.
Yeah.
So like meta kind of prop cons.
Yeah.
To do that 1 damage, right?
And because the the thing that killed me was I lost 125 points just on the Orange Lantern absorbs when I was, because they're 25 points each. Now, what makes Bedovian such a popular character? Or a piece, actually, in this set, because the character's really not that popular.
Well, I think he was. He was one of the first different Sinestro Corps that they laid in the Sinestro Corps War. He's like, oh, is that rock blinking at me? And it was really a couple sectors away, so that's pretty neat. That it was just this Sinestro Corps sniping from literally sectors away. It is pretty interesting. And when you see different aliens, it's interesting to see different takes on some of them. Mm-hmm. He's basically just a crab. Crab shell with a ring.
A shellfish of some sort.
Yeah. This is kind of neat. I can't speak to why other people like him, but I think it's cool.
Yeah. But character-wise for the game, what's his ability? I forget. I haven't actually played with Bedovian that much.
I bet it keeps going to
the wrong thing.
No, it keeps going to the power down. But I want to say, yeah, when it isn't your turn and no other characters are within 2 squares of Bedovian, line of fires to him or block. Bedovians can use reflex, but only to decrease combat values. That's his damage power that he won't have later on. But to start off with, he's a 10 range flying Sinestro Corps member, precision strike, invulnerability, 3 range combat expert, 10 range. Remember, you can't remember because it was a conversation I had with Commen-Terry, but we couldn't actually think of a lot of 10s that were in the set.
Yeah.
That when you pick up the orange ring with Sade, that there's a 10 range.
Yeah.
And in that particular map, the super long range wasn't the big thing. It's still a thing, but there weren't the opportunities to use that.
Again, positioning was everything for Daniel in that game. So very very well positioned.
Ooh. One of the things that I'm just noticing, taking a look at where all the Sapphires are. Those are the 2 running shot recruits, right? If he gets right on the other side of the pillar from Fatality, that he might be able to get 1, 2, 3. He might be able to get 4.
Oh wow!
Including the Pog with a potential pulse wave.
So the recruits have a running shot of 5, I want to say.
I want to say move of 8. Yeah,
move of 8
and
4.
Range of 5.
Okay.
So yeah. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, both of them can get there.
Yeah.
Square. And like we were talking about the elevated line of sight properties.
Yeah.
That won't be able to shoot down from that square. Oh yeah, actually that top one. If he goes 1, 2, 3, 4 to the top elevation, right beside the Zamoron, and I'm gonna say that's Miri. I think that's Miri.
Yeah, I
right
think
there,
so.
on the top elevation 3, he'll be get those 3 as well,
Yeah.
and still being within 8 squares of Arkillo. Oh, but they get the bonus to damage, which wouldn't really help there.
No. It just comes down to, do you want to damage one person more, or do you want to pick away at more than one character?
That is true.
Both are viable strategies.
Yeah, you have to do both. But what's more important to you
Yeah.
now? Kind of thing.
Exactly. Because the good thing about the Star Sapphires is they don't have a lot of damage reducers.
That is true.
They have a lot of ESD.
That's why Fatality is such an important figure on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with Carol, that she's another one of those. The ESDs to combat reflexes and then tail end toughness, which you may or may not see. But yeah, Fatality is the big gun.
It's the glue, so to speak.
I was trying to stay away from both glue and the straw that stirs the drink metaphors. But yes.
Again, I ruined it.
You're just terrible. Terrible. But you have a cool Green Lantern ring
I do.
tattoo.
which didn't help me with my orange lanterns.
Well, why would a green?
I know.
I mean, I
'Cause
understood it had to be
it's
yours.
mine.
It's yours. Let's see what Daniel has going on right here. Time to shoot Despotellis.
All right. Needs to 10 to hit
I'm
this.
just going to do a quick clarification with the...
So it needs a 9 to
We
hit.
were just having a conversation in one of our Facebook groups earlier.
It was earlier this week, yeah.
It was either earlier this week or last week about Despotellis, and just a reminder that the tiny modification is in fact a modification, and Despotellis don't do modifications. So,
Now that was brought up, I think I had that work against me in a game where neither of us realized.
did that change it from a miss to a hit?
No, he actually rolled a.
He rolled. He would have hit the 21 as well.
21. But now he hit it with the correct numbers known instead of just getting it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a recent tournament, I think someone used Despotellis wrong against me.
Well, it's an easy one. You know what?
Yeah.
I've read that trait several times, and I played him I think twice.
I mean, look how long. Like he was available on month 1, and it's over now, and we're just realizing this now. Like.
Well, I think to be fair, I'm sure some people did.
Yeah.
It's just it wasn't one of the ones that clued into most of us. I'm sure some of us probably pointed it out.
Probably.
No, it's not gonna hit anything.
No. You can see the pack is just inching their way over.
Yeah, I'm with you though. That I think I would have moved Caru-Sil up on turn 1 and then probably released the pack, so the pack didn't have to make its own way the whole time.
Yeah. Because the problem with the pack is their movements. They don't have any movement attack abilities. They don't have a charge to get that flurry in, because that would make that really, really powerful. But I definitely would have brought it out her further before popping out the pack.
Yeah, we actually had one of our locals. I guess we can go and judge Eric now. He judges at one of our venues. Super Enrico. Who, and people out there will love this. He pulled in our month 5 event.
Yeah.
He pulled 2 Caru-Sils, which, being a rare, is pretty cool. But now here's the kicker: is that they were both in the same booster. He didn't pull 2 in 2 boosters. He pulled 2 in 1 booster.
Yeah, I actually had to play that team. It was not fun.
No, I would imagine not. And yes, he did play both. He elected that not to be an air booster.
Yeah,
Oddly
I would have done the same thing. Yeah, because it was an extra character as well. It wasn't.
Yeah, I
got
think
5 plus the extra.
I think it was
carousel,
a sixth component. Yeah.
which is a pretty good one to get as an extra.
Yeah. No. I think she might be my favorite Sinestro Corps member from the entire set. I think what they did with the pack is really cool.
Yeah.
Because they made her actual dial less powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they had made her Sinestro Corps like Sinestro 160 points with the pack, that would, where she was combat capable herself.
Yeah.
That would have been problematic. But she's fairly dealable, while still having with the pack increasing her offense. I think she's pretty good.
First 2 games I played with her, I made the mistake of having her take on too much instead of leaving her a bit back for support and just popping.
Just having fatality, having a successful shape change there, I believe.
Ooh. Yeah.
Daniel is a big fan of when shape change actually functions.
You really love the shape change super senses combo.
Do I?
Well, not when you're playing against me and Spider-Man.
It's funny because Terry brought up that game against Iron Doom and Spider-Man earlier. These are the kind of conversations we have locally. This is what I have to put up with. Hey, remember that time with Spider-Man and Iron Doom? Or hey, remember that time that we recorded with X-23? They do it because they care.
To be fair, I have so
few things that I can actually hold above you. So when I get them, I have to cling to them.
No, I have no problems at all with that. Some of the games where I get completely, I actually end up winning that game with Doom and Spider-Man. Some of the games where I get completely demolished are some of the most memorable ones.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I don't want it to happen a lot. Good God, that would be sad, but no. So here's an interesting suggestion. So Bedovian's moving into the hindering train, which technically he doesn't need if he's not around people.
Yeah.
But if you can put someone into him first and then have someone shoot him, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
So going right into the hindering train is potentially helpful because he will get stealth later on. But as of right now, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential Star Sapphire targets.
Yeah.
With 2 of them being cogs, but still.
Mm-hmm. And he was very careful to make sure he didn't have someone in that 2 range.
Actually, here's one of those things that I'll point out. That there may have been, maybe he didn't want to get too close to anybody right now, but had Bedovian gone 2 clicks north of where he is, right there, he also would have had line of sight on fatality.
Oh, yeah.
Would have the 6. Doesn't necessarily need to take the shot, but at least it makes Daniel have to think about
that.
And being like we were talking about fatality being the big gun, when all of a sudden there's a potential for 5 damage with the ranged combat expert. That's something worth considering.
That's true.
And yeah, when you're doing 5 damage, the 1 mystic feedback doesn't sound so bad, right?
No, exactly.
I think we're trying to shoot the pack.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing about the pack is whereas some past pieces had things that popped out, once they were destroyed, they were removed from the game.
Yeah,
Whereas
this is like the immortal squirrel as opposed to the one and done Red Wing.
Yeah.
I really like the removable elements actually.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that it wasn't Slosh, it was Superman set Darkseid, right? With the big boom tune behind him?
I don't know, I don't have that piece.
I'm going to say it was the Superman set Darkseid. And Darkseid, are you a Darkseid person or a Darkseid?
I'm a Darkseid person.
Are you? Yeah. Darkseid.
Tomato.
Yeah. I was really surprised actually because of the amount of removable pieces that we were having at the time and the really positive feedback that it had. That the boom tube wasn't a removable piece. Because I thought that would have been really cool. At least give it a chance to charge or something.
Yeah.
It was quite big.
Yeah, they're since I've only been playing for 2, maybe over 2 years now.
Oh my God, is that it?
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
I just
Feels
have
like
that
it's been
effect.
forever.
I have that effect.
Yeah.
But even from when I started, there's been a lot of improvements on the sculpt builds and the extras, like things like the pack or what else pops off or does cool things. I can't remember. The pack's just sticking out in my head because it stared at me in the face. But
There you go.
there's a lot of cool things that they've done.
I think that's one of the benefits is that you don't remember them all until you're looking at them.
Yeah.
But there are quite a few.
Geoforce is another one with his rock fist. Oh!
That's not going to be the second one. Is it with Miri again? This one's Guy. Oh no! Is that Guy? Was that off click 1? Oh. And like again, you weren't here for that, Richie, but our audience will be. Is that Guy Gardner is one of the few Star Sapphires that actually has a natural 3.
Yeah.
So while it's not so big against the Sinestro Corps, who doesn't have a bunch of barriers, in your game, had Guy lost the natural 3 damage early, that could have been a really big issue because all of a sudden
barrier.
The potential to not deal with barrier is there.
Yeah.
Also, I made a couple comments during your game commentary that you're not allowed to listen to until the end of the World Cup. Or at least until your team is eliminated. because I may have unwillingly assisted the Empire.
Well, to be fair, I don't think this is going to be posted right away anyway, so...
Yeah, there were some scheduling issues. Should have been
Day two, yeah.
should have been Group C, our final group stage, and because of holidays and things like that, this is actually we lost an entire day of filming with our first two groups. So
we will make do and carry on.
yeah, well, one of the ideas I had at least was that I wanted to try and get them out so you had something to watch for the holidays.
Yeah.
You know, something because that's your downtime. You have a little bit of time. Hopefully, you'd be able to enjoy it. So if that doesn't tend to be the case, I think it was still a worthwhile venture to try for.
It's definitely fun, and now that we have all the pieces possible, it's interesting to pit them against each other and see who's going to come out on
someone
top.
suggested that I guess they hadn't been there for the conversations I had with most people because I figured I'd talk to everyone about it.
Yeah.
That they had suggested that maybe we should do a danger room training. Is that have the X-Men's actually have people like draft the characters.
Nice.
And if you draft the character, you get all of those dials that you can use in your point totals.
Huh.
And we'd actually have training danger room training room tournament.
Oh, that's actually a really interesting idea. So Inch and Nut Karu-Sil.
Yep. Who, as of right now, is more defensive because she has her super senses from the pack,
Yeah.
just like the squirrel. So, in Heroclix term, one squirrel equals an entire construct, which I think is more beneficial, is more kind to the pack, because
so.
those squirrels have taken down some pretty big characters. No. So Sinestro just got shape changed away. Twice. But that's why we have a third potential target.
You can't get three, or can you?
He's trying really hard.
These dice actually come up really clear.
Yeah, I noticed those whites on the reds, and I've watched.
How are the Green Lantern dice?
They're not bad. The white and green are pretty good. Another store that I watch is miniwargaming.com, and they do a lot of Infinity and things with D20. So if it's not clear, and one of the dies I really like to show on camera is black on yellow.
Yeah,
That
really
it pops, especially with the small numbers, is really important.
Yeah.
Because they keep using white and reds and white and greens. Those are terrible. No offense. I love your show.
All right. We have no casualties yet, do we?
I don't think so.
No. We have some damage taken.
We have some chippings away. We've had the pack returned forcibly through the poppins. But unlike last game, the poppins require no points to be given up.
Yeah.
And they look cool.
They do look a lot cooler.
We're getting some outwork going on.
That ability that he was just reading out there was what caused me to get a total of 4 damage with Larfleeze because I was pushing to do it. I was taking a chance there. I took 2 Mystics, and then I took another damage for that action token. No, I didn't do that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say that in the last game. Incapacitate does that.
Incapacitate.
No, that's what I'm saying, that if Incapacitate does that to you, you take a pushing damage.
Yeah.
If it's just a game effect that gives you a third token on top of your other token, you actually don't.
Oh, so I messed up there.
Yes.
I will keep that in mind. Daniel cheated.
Well, I don't think cheating is the way to go, but we may have to give out a temporary yellow card. We were discussing, because we're using soccer terminology for the channel, that maybe we should give out rainbow cards as warnings. Maybe a skill card. What do you think?
Skill, yeah.
Skill card.
Punch the card.
You've been Hal Jordan. Or you make Kyle Rayner cry.
Too bad it wasn't in a Green Arrow themed event, because then you could just say you have failed this game.
I tried so hard, especially since we're live, and I don't know when people. I know a lot of people are catching up on their TV shows when the season when the family season really kicks into high gear and they actually have some time, hopefully.
To watch.
Oh yeah, and just taking a quick moment. I hope everyone has a happy holiday season.
Yes.
From all of our players and CartaMagica to yourselves.
No, Terry doesn't wish it.
Except for Commen-Terry, apparently.
Apparently, he says
he
that
he wants to Grinch you all. But we were talking about the arrow, and did you remember me talking about that poster that they should have for the second part? And yeah, it's no, don't do that for the second half of the arrow season. I can't wait for Trinity War actually because I want to start playing more TV DC characters.
yes.
And the ones that we have are getting pretty aged.
Yeah.
And the one that I have, like, with the rule changes, the new 52 Green Arrow really got a lot better. But I have him temporarily loaned out to one of our locals on Dead Bullseye. So I haven't, every time I go reach for him, I don't have him.
Other than the Green Arrow Batman duo that I bought from Troll and Toad, that Green Arrow is the only one I have because I think that's the only one that's really come out since I started playing.
Oh, you never got the DC 75?
No.
You know what? I will grab one for you.
Oh, nice.
Because that's my standby. He's not bad. He's not great, but nowadays, but he was pretty good at the time.
Cool. But I've got tons of Arsenal.
Yep.
Because of Teen
Need an
Titans.
upgrade on Firestorm.
Yeah.
Flash was really good for flashes. Although I got to tell you, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using a Wally and stand for Barry. That Wally is awesome.
He is pretty good.
Also,
That's the Wally's the one that can do the map thing, right? From go from one side of the map to the other.
I want to say that's a gravity feed version. Isn't it? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Okay, you keep talking about this. I will check.
Probably
on it.
not.
You check in on the game, and I
Check in
will
on the game.
check in on alternates.
Also, I see Fatality actually has a action token on her now, so she's moved up a little bit. But she's actually really placed well to pop out the pack and sidestep in to get that attack.
That right there is ideal. Yeah, running around laps around the map. That's the gravity feed.
Oh, it's the
Barry.
gravity feed. Okay.
Gravity feed Barry.
I really like that. I think that's one of my favorite powers from the set. Ooh.
Oh, the yin and the yang to that critical miss.
Now let's see if we can get a second critical hit. Ooh.
Was the pack attached?
Yes.
I have precision strike, so it doesn't matter.
Daniel doing one of the more evil things that you can possibly do, both reminding his opponent that you have the pack attached and you can use super senses, waiting the exact pause of a moment for him to grab the die, and then saying, "Oh, and by the way, I also have precision strike." And then the evil smile.
You know, we're not really painting a good picture of Daniel here. He kind of sounds like a jerk.
No.
Ooh, yes, so he's going all out to get rid of this pack, which is a very smart move. Because
Yeah, the potential there is quite potent. So. I can hit. More precision strike.
I think we might, second casualty, Arkillo's out as well. I didn't see that earlier, so.
So that's 195 right now.
Yeah. I wonder, are these recruits still on their pulse wave clicks?
I'm not sure. I think those recruits are just clinging to life, actually, on Quick
Yeah.
War.
Kind of seems like the Sinestro Corps is starting to drop like flies.
Well, they were the top seed in this grouping. Upsets aren't unheard of, but we do have a replacement player for
Yeah.
a team that he didn't build.
And he wasn't prepared to play.
he was prepared to play, but you know, if you're getting ready for a tournament and you know you think about it, you have the intimate knowledge. You're
Yeah,
not looking at the cards.
I generally, I'll put my teams together, and then I'll spend a good 15, 20 minutes just reading all over the powers, making sure I understand them, making sure I figure out all the ways that they work together and benefit each other.
Yeah.
And he just came in cold, picked up the team, and
Yeah. So thank you so much for doing that. To
yeah.
me. But it's completely understandable that he might not be able to use the team to the fullest ability that it should and could.
Yeah. Now, it's not saying the game's done yet. I
No.
mean, Bedovian does have precision strike. Does he still? I know he's range combat expert, and he has the benefit that characters are going to have to come to him to do any sort of damage to him. No, okay. So he might, depending on what click he's on.
That actually, I misspoke earlier when I said that that was 195 done. That's actually 225 done because that's Palace done too.
Ooh, that's right.
So that's two of the big guns missing for the Sinestro Corps.
How are we doing for time in this game?
I think we're coming up on about 15 minutes left.
Okay.
So if you pass a great shot and another great shot, and you don't have three great shots, and you pass another great shot and there's six, a 40-goal shot would be 10.
What's the third game going to be after this game?
It's going to be not Richie versus not Terry. Yeah, it'll be the Sinestro Corps versus yourselves.
Okay.
Because you have to play all the members regardless of what the...
What the results are, yeah. That's going to be another interesting game.
Because as of right now, it's just the top finisher in each pool that's moving on.
Okay.
But I was having a conversation with Judge Eric, Super Enrique, that there may be something else involved. But as of right now, it's definitely top seeds that are moving on.
So if Star Sapphires win this game, they've locked down.
They have locked. They will be the first team waiting in the, I guess, Ring of Honor. Sure,
Yeah,
we'll use
Ring of Honor,
we'll use the Lantern terminology. the Ring of Championships.
Daniel's really smart there, moving in. Looks like a recruit.
Yeah, like we had said that moving one character into Bedovian just to nullify the ability. We were talking earlier that Daniel, who's self-appointed my rival, and I faced each other in the first War of Light event in Ottawa. Where we faced him in the finals, and he was playing Mongol and Bedovian with the ring, and it did not go well. I had Graptorn, and I had Arisia, a recruit, and I want to say something else.
Graftorn's a character that I want to pair up with the new Captain Cold from Flash, and make it a team with those
Do you know why that is? Because you're a terrible person.
I am a terrible person.
You are a terrible person. But yeah, no, and I would love to say that I picked that team because I knew all about the powers, but I actually went into that tournament cold.
Yeah.
I hadn't read a lot of the spoilers, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool, and I'll play the greens. And the reason I went with the greens is because I actually pulled Torma 2 that event, and I wanted to play him.
Nice.
But it was a 300-point game, not a 400-point game, so he was the first one out. So the entire reason for me building that team was removed. But yeah, and Graptorn was outstanding.
And I think that might be where Terry's having trouble here, is because he has no Mongols on his team, and he's really familiar with Mongol, because I think he has at least 18 of them.
Yes. I keep teasing him that he has a Mongol board. Daniel actually heard us on that one, and he's hoping that that's edited out. Oh, the super sensitive. That means the shape change. Oh, you know that's We'll have to go back and watch this, but I remember
I think
that
that's
it was
where
the 5 and the
rolled
6.
last time too.
It was
right
the
in
5,
that
6,
spot.
and then it was the 1 the last time. There were multiples. We'll have to watch out for this to see how Lady Luck is faring.
Is that Sinestro over
Yeah,
on
it
the
is.
side of the map? Okay.
Yeah, with Guy Gardner pointing at him right there beside that recruit. Is it recruit?
No, it's
Is that what the Samurai
Zamoran
are called?
trainee.
The trainee, right? I never saw a lot of the Pogs, so I'm not familiar with their terminology of names.
The only ones I really know
Are the
are
orange
the
ones?
Orange Lantern ones.
Because as we mentioned earlier, you're a terrible, terrible person.
The Orange Lanterns are definitely one of my, of this year, one of my favorite pieces that have come out.
Now, here's a question for you. Prior to your playing them and having really, really good success with them, when you were looking at them on paper, did you see them as being a really fun thing that you thought they were going to like? Or it was the gameplay-wise that you thought it just created situations?
No, it wasn't until actually, because like you, I didn't check out a lot of the spoilers from the set or anything, so I had no idea.
Which is unusual for me, because usually I eat them up.
I had no idea that Larfleeze had that ability. So as soon as I got Larfleeze, that's when I realized the potential in the.
Yeah, I kind of like the Larfleeze is the prize because you get the bump and everything else, but I feel the Orange Lantern team without Agent Orange is rough.
Very rough. Because there's so few Orange Lanterns. So, although I would have liked to see a different variety of Orange Lantern constructs, because the character itself does turn his enemies after he kills them into Orange Lantern constructs. So instead of just all the different having all little glommies,
And the dead man looking one.
yeah, they could have switched that up a little bit, but that's just me nitpicking.
I did like the one they picked for the Reds, Skullwalk. So I'm happy
Yeah.
that we have a sculpt for him. Oh, here comes Fatality.
Bedovian and the recruit are the yellows the last.
Yep.
Good thing is, even if I get knocked out with my Orange Lanterns, I'm still going to be playing the Blue Lanterns later in the series.
That's right. As of right now, we do have some players doubling up on colors. So it was important that some of them were eliminated. Otherwise, we may have to switch them out as they advance to the Ring of Honor.
I'm looking forward to using the Blue Lanterns too, because that's a whole lot of prop control.
I just gave you all the Guardians teams. Every team I gave you, you have a Guardian on it.
Yeah.
Don't you?
What are we at? 5 minutes?
Yeah, we got 5 minutes left in this game because we gave them a little bit more time,
Yeah.
which I believe we discussed with the players beforehand. So it wasn't just a randomly, hey, you know what? We're gonna give you some extra time. Although I would totally do that.
I wouldn't know.
I would totally do that.
Now, if I have the preference for map next game, I'm gonna have to say this is the map that I'm gonna want.
This is the one?
I mean, it is Okara, and I'm playing the Orange Lanterns.
You realize you put that out into the world so that now the universe can stop you from doing it, right?
It's true.
In a comic book, you'd be the guy that say, this can't possibly get worse.
And then it gets worse.
At which point, everyone has to take 2 steps away from you.
Back away slowly.
Fatality has charge.
It must have been taken a lot of consideration to put together this Yellow Lantern team because of the different colors of the rainbow in this set. Yellow Lanterns have one of the larger numbers.
And actually, on one of the earlier renditions of the team that Silent Pat was going to play, that Terry ended up playing, is there was the 100-point fatality on there.
Okay.
And when we were submitting teams, he found out that he was going to be playing against fatality on the other side of the board, and asked both myself, who's the, I guess the head coordinator of the event, if I want to give titles away, and his opponent, if it would be okay if he switched it out for the Arkillo, just so we don't have duplicate facing characters, and we were both cool with that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But for the most part, the teams were going to be set in stone. But that was an exception we were happy to allow. One of the other reasons he said is that he was a little iffy on playing around the Sinestro Corps team is because she's still in the pink. And I haven't got a chance to make all the Sinestro Corps mods yet for the locals.
More Bedovians getting swarmed there.
Yeah, this
Not long for this world.
going to be clan bait momentarily.
I hate that when you roll the dice and as you're rolling, you realize there's something that you should have done, but you didn't.
Yep. Oh, there we go. We have a game.
Yeah, all right.
So we have the Star Sapphire going undefeated.
Yeah, they will be moving around.
So they will definitely be moving around. We're going to take a quick break. We're just going to have a quick post-op from this one.
Post-op?
Yeah, we're going to have a quick post-discussion about this game.
Like, I'm not ready for surgery.
And yeah, we're just going to talk about this game quick, and then we're going to get to our last game of the night.
Yeah.
Between yourself and Terry.
Yep.
And as we said, it's entirely possible that both your teams, the yellow and the who right now are looking like upset city, for reasons that we've discussed.
Yeah.
There is the potential for those points to matter, and there may be an opportunity, not confirmed,
Maybe.
but there's a possibility that they may not be done.
All you got to do is hope.
So, as you were saying, congratulations to Star Sapphires. Have Daniel over here momentarily. Is this your first time on the side of the camera, by the way?
It's first time commenting, but I've been recorded before
Gotcha.
playing a game.
I suppose if I were to really think about what I was saying, which I never do, this isn't really on this side of the camera.
No.
It's on the recorder. So, obviously, congratulations.
Thank you.
Going 2-0. Upseeing the Star Sapphires. We were talking about it earlier, in that with Terry having to jump in at the last minute, it was a bit of a hit on them, but sometimes injuries are a part of the game. And we will, in fact, be discussing that with Silent Pat at a later date, exactly the events, because these are memorable.
No doubt Silent Pat is going to have a lot to say
So-
on silence.
So here's a question for you. Number one, going into your round, when you found out who the other two colors were in your starting pool, did you look at them and say, "There's a chance, there's a good chance," or were you licking your lips, thinking, "Oh yeah, moving on"?
I was really scared for my teams both times. Well, my team both times. The Orange Lanterns, with just a lot of sidestep, a lot of some poison.
Yeah,
I think.
access to poison.
Yeah, access to poison, and that crazy barrier, and I have very little damage reducers.
Yeah.
I thought I'm just going to be punch through till there was nothing left.
Yeah, I was talking with both both of your opponents actually, who just happened to be both my commentators.
Yes.
That when I was looking at them and I saw the three teams, the green, the reds, and the yellow that got the top seeding, that of the teams that didn't get seeded, I thought orange and violets actually were the most potential, because we've seen Richie do his barrier orange lanterns some really, really well.
Yeah,
I thought that they both presented problems that could quickly upset not only just stay in matches, but quickly take them over, and that's what your Sapphires do.
I think the lack of outwit on on some of these teams helped me a lot tonight in both games.
Yep.
Because if you could have outwitted that power once or twice, not taken the extra token, not taken the extra mystics damage, those were game changers.
So I would put you in the category where you'd be happy that we waited for Carol to be an option for you to play,
Yes.
and that we
thank you very much.
didn't play it during month 5
I'm quite
when we had
relieved.
most of.
I'm quite relieved. She was the one prize that I wanted from the whole set anyway. As I'm sure our listeners and viewers can tell, I'm just big into the Star Sapphires. And I was really happy that I won that figure in month 5 and that I was able or month 6?
Yeah, she was month 6.
Month 6. And able to play her tonight a couple times. This is my first time playing her.
Oh, nice. So 2 more ones before we go. Number 1, what are you liking? What do you think the chances are for both green and red in their groups? Do you think they're quite potent?
Yes. I would. Red is just so dangerous. So dangerous.
Yeah.
And like green are formidable, but the red are they just tear through teams.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of when you think of a lanterns, it's range combat.
Range combat.
And
yes.
the reds are the change up where it's.
Oh yeah.
No, they don't want to range you. They want to get up and close to you.
I'm glad I didn't face reds tonight with my little team of energy shields.
Seeding is how it goes. The second one I wanted to get was, do you think any of the other groupings have another potential upset in it? I'll quickly tell you what they are.
Sure.
So, because that'll totally be helpful.
Yes,
so,
it'll help our viewers and me.
So the red have, I want to say, indigo and white. It's either white or black in that one. And then the greens have green, blue, and the other of white and black. I can't remember offhand which one it was. Do you think there's a potential upset there? Or do you like the favorites to come out of that one?
I think
Depends on a lot of factors,
I think
but-
Indigo has a good chance because they're also close combat with the healing, so that might be a favor.
Okay.
And the green and what were the other colors?
Green had blue and one of white or black. I can't remember exactly offhand.
Black can be fairly offensive as well in terms of not offensive.
No, depending on who plays them, it can be offensive
They
too.
can be offensive, but they are an offensive team.
Yes.
And with the steel energy, could upset things. But this is also a game of chance. A lot of dice rolls. Don't go your
that's
way.
one of the things that can come. So
I had 2 critical misses during my second game. I did all right in spite of those.
Gotchas. Again, congratulations, Daniel, and
Thank you.
we're going to be seeing you in the finals. Don't know exactly when because of the holiday scheduling.
Yes.
Not sure exactly when that's going to be, but we're going to try and get that to you guys quick. Obviously, we need to run the other 2 groupings first.
Yeah.
To find out who you're going to be facing, but congratulations, doing
Thank you
well on
very
your team. And
Go down!
And
Not tonight.
we're going to take our 5 to 10 minute break, and we will be back with the final match of the night.